We are today discussing about the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are those basic rights which are considered as our basic rights. And these rights are those rights which are essential for our all-round development. That's why each constitution of the world has provided fundamental rights to their citizens. Okay, so we are also given fundamental rights by our constitution, and we have adopted these fundamental rights from the Constitution of United States of America. Fundamental rights are aggregate of so many rights, although other rights are also provided, but these rights are called fundamental rights. These are called fundamental rights because these are essential for our personality development. Initially, when the Constitution was enforced, at the time there were 7 fundamental rights enlisted in the Constitution. And the rights were right to equality, right to freedom against exploitation, then cultural and educational right, freedom of religion, and cultural and educational right to property. Means 7 fundamental rights were provided. But by the amendment of 44th, that was done by the Indian government in 1978, right to property is deleted from the list of fundamental rights. Now, right to property is treated as legal right. Okay, so how many rights are now left? 6 fundamental rights. And these 6 fundamental rights are called fundamental because they are justiciable. It means what? If our fundamental rights are denied, if we are not granted with our fundamental rights, then we are eligible to move towards High Court or Supreme Court. These are justiciable rights. If anyone try to infringe our fundamental right or violate our fundamental right, we all have right to move towards the Supreme Court or High Court, and we will get judgment. Okay. So how many fundamental rights are there? 6 fundamental rights are basically important for us. Just I have told you that personality development is something which is means guarded by our fundamental rights. So 6 fundamental rights just I have told you, and I'm mentioning the first fundamental right, that is right to equality. So right to equality, actually fundamental right starts from Article 12 and it is spread up to Article 32. Okay, all the articles are related with the fundamental right. So first of all, we will discuss about the right to equality. And right to equality starts from Article 14 of the Indian Constitution and it continues till 18. Okay, and all rights are very important. Like Article 14 tells us equality before law. It means we all are equal before the law, irrespective of our backgrounds, irrespective of our caste, creed, sex or religion. We all are treated as equal. And this we have inherited from the Constitution of France. Because you know that French Revolution started in 1789 and 3 main slogans were given by the French revolutionaries. These were equality, liberty and fraternity. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on ground of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. We can't be discriminated on these grounds. Then Article 16 is very important because this provides us means equal opportunity for government jobs. You may raise question, sir, then why reservation is given? So actually reservation doesn't cut or means cross the right to equality because the government has a duty to bring everyone on the same category, same economic level. That's why reservation is given. Article 17. You know that during the British period or during the colonial period, there was a large scale exploitation of the so-called downtrodden people. They were treated as untouchables. Okay. And Mahatma Gandhi was against of that. And Mahatma Gandhi operated so many movements against this. Okay. So again, when the constitution was implemented, one article was added, that is Article 17. And by 1955, the practice of untouchability was completely prohibited. Okay. Mahatma Gandhi was telling untouchability is crime against God and humanity. And this is already prohibited by Article 17. And Article 18, there were so many loyal to the British government during the colonial period. And they were rewarded by the British government with different types of titles. But now, except the government titles, other organizations are not able to give any title like Parambir Chakra, like Mahavir Chakra, or so many this kind of awards are given but this is not falling under this. Okay, so many titles are abolished. Next is right to freedom. This is very important. This is cluster of 6 very important rights. Like Article 19 provides you right of the freedom of speech. It means under the rules and regulation we are free to speak. We are able to criticize the government. And Article 20 protect us from conviction of any offense. Okay. Then Article 21 is very important. This right provides us protection of life and personal liberty. Whenever we are arrested by the police, these 2 rights are preserved till the last law is coming from the Supreme Court. And then Article 21 is added newly, that is right to education. This is the responsibility of the government to provide education, compulsory education to all who are between the 6 years to 14 years. Up to 14 years, free and compulsory education is responsibility of the government. Okay. And Article 22, protection against arrest and detention of certain cases. Okay. So these all rights coming under the right to freedom. And then right against exploitation, because during the colonial period, you can say, or before the colonial period too, there were different kind of exploitation in our society. India has adopted democratic pattern, and in this pattern there is no any meaning of exploitation, because we all are treated equally. Okay, so Article 23 prohibits traffic in human beings. Earlier there was selling and purchasing of human beings, particularly women, for immoral reasons. And we are already knowing that there was a practice of slave trade, and this was triangular. Means 3 continents were involved: Europe, America, as well as Africa, in this kind of trade. Now, human trafficking, this is called a human trafficking, and this is completely prohibited by Article 23. Then Article 24 is also very important, because this right provides the means children not to work in any hazardous industries and factories. Means factory owners or any employees are not means liable to appoint any child below the age of 14 years in any industry and factory, hazardous industry and factory. Although in our society Hindus are in majority, they constitute almost 80% of the population. They are in majority. And along with the Hindus, we have a very good population of Muslims, Sikh, Christians, Baudh, Jain. Okay. In spite of adopting theocracy, the constitution makers adopted the path of secularism. Okay. So what do you mean by secularism? So secularism is actually a path in which the government has no any official religion. All the religions are treated equally. There is no discrimination on the ground of religion. So it is given in the fundamental right also, and this is given under right to freedom of religion. And how many articles are involved here? 25 to 28 articles. These are involved in the means freedom of religion. So Article 25, it starts from Article 25. Article 25 provides you freedom of conscience and free profession. Okay, practice and propagation of religion. Then Article 26 provide you freedom of manage religious affair. If you are belonging from a particular religion, so you have a right to manage your personal religious affairs. Okay. Then Article 27 provides freedom as to payment of taxes for promotion of any particular religion. You are belonging to a particular religion, that's why you have to pay a tax. This is completely prohibited. You are knowing during Aurangzeb or during the rule of Firoz Shah Tughlaq, Indian people had to pay jizya, and this was religious tax. Okay, so this kind of tax is completely prohibited. And Article 28 provides us freedom as to attendance at regular means religious instruction. We are free to give religious instruction, but the institutions which are operated by the government, which are run by the government, in that religious education is completely prohibited. It means we all are religiously free. The government has no official religion, and the government doesn't promote anyone. You are free to worship your God according to your wish. The government will not interfere. You are wishing, you are worshipping, or you are not worshipping. This is not the concern of the government or the state. because the constitution thinks that the government is only related with human beings, not with the God. What is the relation between human beings and God? God means here the means constitution is not involved. Okay. Then for the protection of minorities, you are knowing that we have so many linguistic minorities, we have so many religious minorities. To protect the minorities from the exploitation of the majority, several rights are granted under right of cultural and educational and cultural right. Two articles are directly involved: 29, protection of interest of the minorities, and Article 30, right of the minority to establish and administer educational institution. Okay. Then in this conversation I have told you that sometime there is possibility of the violation of the fundamental rights. And just I have told you, fundamental rights are basic rights which are essential for our personality development, all-round development. And that's why there were many sections in the society before the enforcement of the constitution. They were highly exploited. Not only in India, this is the matter of entire world, I am telling. As for example, you have seen the rule of Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler only permitted pure German Aryans to live in Germany, and you were badly treated. So this is the age of democracy. This is democratic era. And here all are equal. This is the basic sentiment of democracy. And here there is maybe possibility of the exploitation of our fundamental right or infringement of the fundamental rights. In that situation, suppose any organization, even the government or private body or any employees try to infringe your fundamental right, in that condition what you will do? The answer is very simple. If our fundamental rights are denied without a proper law, we are able to move towards High Court and Supreme Court directly. Supreme Court and High Court both are directly concerned with the protection of fundamental rights. If our fundamental rights are denied, then we are able to, or we have right to approach towards the High Court or the Supreme Court. And from here we will get judgment, because this is the responsibility of the court to see that if the person is infringed, that means fundamental rights are infringed, then the matter is observed and checked by the court. And if the matter is correct, then the person is released from that by issuing different types of writs. And if it is not possible, then according to the law of the country, the case is permitted to the police to see the matter, and final judgment comes from the Supreme Court and High Court. So it means what I say, if constitutional remedy, if our fundamental rights are denied, in that situation we are able to move, because the move to Supreme Court or High Court, because these are justiciable rights. But it doesn't mean that fundamental rights are absolute. There is no any control over fundamental rights, because we have to see the unity and integrity of the country. That is very important. We have to see the law and order of the country. We have to see the public health. Okay. So certain kind of restriction can be imposed, but that is not permanent. As for example, we have 3 articles in our constitution about the imposition of emergency by the President of India. That is Article 52, Article 56 and Article 360. Matlab 352, 356 and 360. And during the emergency period, so many times emergency is already imposed in our country. Like Article 356 is imposed on the state if the state machinery is not working according to the constitution. Article 52 is imposed when the due to internal aggression or due to external aggression, if the unity and integrity of the country is hampered. In that situation, Article 352 is imposed, and Article 360 is imposed during the time of financial emergency. Okay, so during the time of emergency, actually the fundamental rights are denied. Not denied means certain kind of restrictions are imposed, but when the condition becomes normal, this is the responsibility of the government to remove such kind of restriction, so that we can again start to develop our personality. This is the importance of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are basic rights, and these rights are completely different from other kind of constitutional rights which are provided or legal rights which are provided. So fundamental rights are the most important part of our constitution, and this is most important for our personality development. Thank you.